Good evening, chocolatiers. Welcome back to OCTOBERFEST 2025, the series where we go movie by movie through some of horror's wildest franchises leading up to Halloween. Today we're talking about Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, the sixth entry in the Nightmare on Elm Street saga, released in 1991. It was marketed as the final chapter in Freddy Krueger's story. Yeah, sure. But what we actually got was one of the strangest, most divisive entries in the whole series. By this point, Freddy wasn't just a horror villain, he was a pop culture icon. There were toys, there were TV cameos, music videos. The dude had basically become the horror world's mascot. So New Line Cinema figured, let's go out with a bang, and gave us a movie that was more Looney Tunes than Elm Street. And that's kind of the charm of this film and also the curse of Freddy's Dead. So this movie opens 10 years after the events of the previous film, and Springwood has basically become a ghost town. All the kids are gone. Freddy pretty much wiped them out. The last surviving teenager, John Doe, escapes into the real world with no memory of who he is. He ends up in a shelter for troubled youth where we meet Maggie, played by Lisa Zane, who decides to help him uncover his past. Of course, it all circles back to Freddy. Maggie starts digging into Freddy's history, and we get flashbacks showing that he had a wife and a daughter, and that he was abused as a kid. And it's kind of an attempt to humanize him, but it kind of feels cartoonish because Freddy even gets taken down in 3D at the end, complete with flying objects and dream demons, and one of the most 90s horror moments ever put to film. Now, Lisa Zane does her best as Maggie, and Robert Englund, as always, is fully committed, even when the writing does get ridiculous. He gives Freddy this manic, gleeful energy that makes the movie somewhat watchable. There's also a fun cameo lineup. You got Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold randomly appearing, and Alice Cooper plays Freddy's abusive foster father. It's weird, but in a way that only the 90s kind of way would have worked. Rachel Talalay, who had worked on previous Elm Street films behind the scenes, steps into the director's chair here, and you can tell that she wanted to do something big and self-aware, a sort of farewell tour of Freddy. But the script leans so hard into the slapstick that it really undercuts the scares. Stylistically, however, Freddy's Dead is very loud, colorful, and unapologetically goofy. The dream sequences look like theme park rides. There's one where Freddy uses a power glove and literally says, "Now I'm playing with power." Pure 1991 cringe and brilliance rolled into one. By this point, Freddy no longer is a boogeyman. He's Bugs Bunny with a glove full of knives. Some fans love that energy, others kind of hate it. Personally, I think it's entertaining if you go in expecting a parody, not a horror film. There's an interesting attempt at exploring Freddy's origin, the cycle of abuse, the idea that monsters are made, not necessarily born, but it's buried under too many jokes. Still, Freddy's Dead has a weird cultural legacy. It marked the end of an era, closing out Freddy's original run before New Nightmare reinvented everything 3 years later. The film also serves as a snapshot of those early 90s horror. You got the bright colors, you got the self-aware humor, and a franchise running on fumes, but still having some fun. So, is Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare a good movie? Not really. Is it a fun movie? Absolutely. It's very messy, campy, and absurd, but it never really takes itself too seriously. Robert Englund gives it his all as usual, and that 3D finale, is cheesy as it is, has that nostalgic you had to be there vibe that makes it very memorable. It's not scary, but it is a wild time capsule of Freddy at his most unhinged. That wraps up today's episode of OCTOBERFEST 2025. Let me know down in the comments below, what is your favorite Nightmare on Elm Street kill of all time and film? And are you Team Serious Freddy or Team Goofy Freddy? If you're enjoying the series, hit that like button, subscribe for more horror reviews all month long, and come back tomorrow for the next nightmare.